You're live.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the City Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. It's approximately 1 p.m. I'm Mayor Eric Enriquez. Before we start, I want to mention that we have the ASL, American Sign Language, available for interpretation up in the front. We will start with a moment of silence for the brave men and women of the United States Armed Forces and for our local Las Cruces Police and Fire Department that keep our city safe 24/7, 365. If you join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll start off with presentations and certifications. Councilor McClure will be conducting those.
Now, hello everyone. This one will be for the Rio Grande Rotary Club Day for Ken Martin, Eddie Binns, and Carol Bray. Come on up. Think I have to get a little closer? Okay. So whereas the Rio Grande Rotary Club was established in August 1975 and is celebrating 50 years of service in our community on September 12, 2025, and whereas the Rio Grande Rotary Club is part of an international network of Rotary clubs with 1.4 million members worldwide that practice service above self, and whereas the Rio Grande Rotary Club was established in Las Cruces by individuals who wanted to extend Rotary's reach in southern New Mexico, including Eddie Binns, John Floyd, Robert Hagler, and Ernie Williams. And whereas Rotary clubs worldwide have members from all vocations in a community: doctors, lawyers, bankers, educators, business people, government leaders, and the service industry that want to work together for a better living conditions on the local, state, and national level as well as worldwide. And whereas the Rio Grande Rotary Club membership is made up of people from various occupations who want to come together and make life better for the needy. And whereas the Rio Grande Rotary Club has been a major sponsor of worthy service projects in our community worldwide, such as Polio Plus, Mesilla Valley Hospice since its establishment, the Dress a Child Project, the construction of Unidad Park, the joint project with Rotary clubs in Mexico. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim September 12, 2025 as Rio Grande Rotary Club Day. Would you like to come say a couple of words?
My name is Ken Martin, and I am the president this year of the Rio Grande Rotary Club. I'd like to express our thanks to Mayor Enriquez and the council for this proclamation. It's been a real delight and joy to be a part of the Rotary Club and Rotary International. As a third-generation Rotary member, I'm grateful to my father and my grandfather for setting the groundwork so that I can follow along in their steps in providing service to the community, to the nation, and to the world through projects such as eradicating polio. We are this close in the world from eradicating polio, and we just need a little bit more to get over that hump. So thank you all very much for being here. Thank you for this proclamation.
Okay, next we'll have Mandy Leatherwood doing a presentation on the Government Programming Award.
Yes. Right. Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm really excited to be here today. I have some good news for you. I'm Mandy Leatherwood. I'm the Communications Director, and I want to talk to you about the NATOA Government Programming Awards. What is NATOA? It is the National Association of Telecom Officers and Advisors. If you don't remember it, it's okay. I have to look it up every year. We're really excited because just 2 weeks ago, we had the Government Programming Awards, and the City of Las Cruces took home several awards. And so I wanted to share with you on this slide a photo of Adrian Guzman and Nathaniel Bidding. They are the team. They're not out here with me right now because they're in the back actually doing the work of running this council meeting and televising it live. Some of the things that are really exciting about the Government Programming Awards, it recognizes excellence by local governments nationwide, and all of the submissions are peer-reviewed and judged. And so what that means is the people looking at these and judging them and scoring them are also local governments. And I think that that's really important because so often we're competing with things that are trying to sell a product, but really the work that we do in the communications office is more educational and informative. And knowing that other government professionals are recognizing the quality work that we do, understanding the challenges we deal with, I'm just really proud of the fact that we came out on top. We had several awards. We had 3 awards of excellence. Those mean that we won in those categories. 3 awards of distinction, which means that we were in the top tier, but somebody edged us out. And then 1 honorable mention. And so I really thank you for the opportunity to share a couple of the award-winning videos. And so the first one that we won for, I'm actually really proud of this one. It was What's My Line Made Of, and it was part of the lead and copper education. I know that there has been a lot of misinformation in our community about us not communicating well, and I just want to let you know that we're being recognized nationally for doing such a great job. And I'm going to read actually some of the comments from the judges. These aren't what I've said, this is what others have said about us. The speaker was extremely knowledgeable in the subject, and that was enforced by how he performed the examination himself. The information and visuals are conveyed well for someone such as myself who has no knowledge in this field. This is informative and compelling. It was clear and concise all the way through. And so I'm going to take a moment to actually show you this video.
Good morning, Las Cruces. My name is Jacob Cabrales. I am the supervisor for meter valves and hydrants for the water department. This morning, I'm going to demonstrate how we are going to identify both sides of the water lines, type of material on both city side and customer side inside the meter boxes. Locate your service entry line, which is located near the sidewalk in front of your property line. So next, we're going to demonstrate how to remove the lid without disconnecting the ERT cable. So if you just tug on the lid, you can tell that there's an ERT cable attached to it. You don't have to lift it very high. There's plenty of slack of cable, so then we can just set this lid aside so we can start determining what type of material we have inside the box. A couple tools you might need. A little garden shovel. It'll make it easier to dig it within the box. That way you won't have to use a regular size shovel because it's very confined space. And also a simple screwdriver so you can scrape on the copper line or any type of material to identify what you're dealing with. If needed, use a chart like the pictures here to determine the material, or one will be included on our lead and copper rule revisions website. And these are the type of materials you'll come across inside your meter boxes. This is a copper water line. It looks a little bit like it has rust on it, and it'll have that patina look. And then this is a poly line, a plastic water line. This is the most updated type of material we are installing now. Once we have removed the meter lid and kind of got the cables out of the way, we're going to start to expose customer side and city side. And all you got to do is dig around the angle valve going down. Just be gentle. Try not to hit the meter or the plumbing too much. And you'll start seeing the type of material that's there. As you can tell, this one is blue poly. a blue plastic line. So we don't have to worry about customer side being copper, lead, or any other type of material besides poly. So now we're gonna take the dirt that we dug up and move it to the other side, and let's dig up city side and let's see what type of material the city side has. As you can tell, city side is also blue poly. So this whole entire service line coming from the main into the customer side is all blue poly. So we can take dirt that we removed and put it back. That way your line doesn't freeze over. If you weren't able to dig inside the meter box, for maybe there was landscape bricks, for someone to raise a box, some type of other obstructions, you'll have to dig outside of the meter box and dig straight down, probably at the most 6 to 8 inches, and then you will start coming across your type of material that's going into your property line. So once we have determined what type of material we have on customer side and city side, we would like for you folks to please take a picture and send it to lead@loscruces.gov, and we'll take it from there.
Thank you. There is one more thing that I'd like to note. I know that we've heard some concerns that we're not communicating with some of the Spanish speakers in our community. On everything that's on YouTube, you can put in closed captioning. It's easy. You just click this button, and then in the settings, it goes to whatever language you want. Spanish is on there, and once you click it once, it actually automatically goes to that. So if you're watching this type of video once, it continues to show your video that way. At the city, and especially in the communications office, we know that it's really important that everyone have access to all of the information that we put out. So, all right, back to the PowerPoint. We also got an award. I'm going to skip this one because I've taken up a lot of your time. For the zipper method, we worked with Public Works. Again, that one's also on our YouTube. But this last one I want to share with you was I Can't Do Every Job, and it came as an idea from HR, working with our city manager, and asked him if he would please help us put a video that welcomed new employees to the city. But my team worked with him to say, let's actually take this a step bigger and use it as a recruitment video. And so I'm going to again read some of these comments, again, not from me, from the judges, that said, this joke is so relatable, it feels like reality. We enjoy how much buy-in there is from the city manager. I enjoyed everything about this video. I would go work for the city of Las Cruces if my boss had such a great sense of humor. In fact, at the awards show, Nate and Adrian shared that several people came up to them afterwards and said, we wish our city manager had that sense of humor. And so with that,
Greetings and salutations. I'm City Manager Ikani Tamupiao, and I oversee all the operations here at the City of Las Cruces. But let's be honest, I can't do every job here. No, seriously, I've tried.
Welcome everybody. Ikani is going to show you one of our Madagascar hissing cockroaches here at the Museum of Nature and Science.
All right, while we D up, butt down, palm up, 90 degrees.
Proposed budget, enterprise funds, debt service, CIP, ACFR, CAFR.
All right, palm up. That's why I rely on talented individuals like you to help make our city great. Join our team today.
Okay, Connie, you're ready for Hollywood.
So I listed here, we work with many departments. I am so lucky to have talented and creative members of my team, from video to digital media, to marketing, to community engagement, the volunteer network, and our support staff. But we can't do it without all of our departments who give us information and content. So I want to thank all of our departments, but I also want to thank management and city council, because your support makes it possible for us to do this work. And so I'm lucky to get to work with all of these individuals every day. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mandy. Great job. And to your team and everyone else, and especially to Nate and Adrian, congratulations. Good job. Next, we have Jobs of the Week. Sarah Rainey.
Good afternoon, thank you. My name is Sarah Rainey. I'm the one-stop coordinator for the Southwest Region of America's Job Center, New Mexico. For Jobs of the Week, starting out for the city of Las Cruces, we have a library page starting at $15.02 an hour. That posting closes on the 8th, so very, very soon. We also have for the city a receivable representative for $15.57 an hour, and that one closes on the 8th as well. So those you need to check out real quick. We have for the White Sands Missile Range, we have quality control analysts. That is $38.55 to $48.55, and that one closes on the 17th. We have an emergency caseworker for El Calvario United Methodist Church, $18 an hour, and that posting closes on the 25th later this month. We have a production forklift driver for Olam Spices and Vegetables. That one starts at $15.54 an hour and closes on the 24th as well. And then for haciendas at Grace Village, we have a caregiver starting at $13 an hour up to $18 an hour. The posting closes on the 20th. Just a recap of our opportunities and events that we've got going up. Mountain Shadows hiring event will happen tomorrow. Sorry, today's the 2nd. In our office on Alameda. So if you're looking to do caregiving and you're ready to work, go interview ready, take your resume, be ready to talk to them. They are hiring actively. We also have our Career Essentials at HSD in Anthony. That one's a little further out, but for those of you that are watching or in that area, on the 9th, you can receive one-on-one employment assistance, program referrals, and everything you get in our offices here. 9, 10, and the 26th, H&R Block will be in our offices as well. Same thing as the Mountain Shadows. They'll be doing a tabling event ready for you to apply. Bring your resume, come interview ready. They're hiring actively right now. Also, Community of Hope Job Readiness, that's our monthly event, will be on the 17th. We're looking for volunteers. Anybody in the community is welcome to come and be a volunteer to conduct a mock interview. So that'll be practicing interview skills with those people that are out there looking for extra assistance, little feedback of how to get themselves ready for an interview. We have all the materials provided, so you don't have to come with a grand knowledge, but if you want to come volunteer, reach out to me. And then just a note, something that we haven't mentioned very often, our American Job Centers is in Hatch every Tuesday. So that's another opportunity for those that cannot make it all the way down here to Las Cruces, but is still here in Doñana County. And that is all. If anybody has anything that you need from us, you can reach out on employinm.com, and there's a contact us button, or any of our social media. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Next is Pets of the Week. You have Carol.
Good afternoon. I'm Carol Nilsson, Digital Content Specialist with the Animal Services Center of the Mesilla Valley. Our Clear the Shelter special is officially over, and so we're still crunching the numbers, but it looks like we got pretty close to 300. So thank you for everyone that came out and supported us. For our Dog of the Week, we have Coral, 89047. I may be a bit older than my fellow ASCMV adoptables, but that just means I have a wealth of love to share. With a friendly nature, I'm ready to shower you with sweet kisses. I have a special talent for climbing, so I'll need a little guidance to channel my adventurous spirit. While I enjoy exploring on my own, I'm also friendly with other dogs, and I'm currently perfecting my sit command, especially when treats are involved. I've been on a few exciting field trip adventures lately and had an absolute blast, but what I truly desire is to find my forever adventure buddy. And our Cat of the Week has actually already been adopted, so we're super happy for Sylvester. And as always, I forgot to update the adoptions aren't free in September. So, but our long-term residents we like to highlight because the longer they stay at the shelter, it's harder for them to thrive. So we would love to see our longest-term residents find their homes. Boxer and both Pickle have been with us 247 days now. Cosette, 239 days. Cookies and Cream, 229 days. And this weekend, we are going to be at Petco from 9 to 12, so definitely come on by. It's always a good time to say hi if you can't adopt. They love getting to socialize, and it's a good opportunity for them. And as always, bring someone who's ready to adopt. So, and you can find more information on our website, ascmv.org, or via social media as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
Mayor, I just want to give a testament to Coral's
Go ahead.
amazingness. She's
Go
been to my house. She is extremely well behaved, extremely thoughtful. You should take her home today. Like she will fit right in and learn everything. And I'm so lucky that the Animal Services Center has these field trips. I've also taken out Boxer for trips. He's extremely sweet and good-natured, and was really excited to be hanging around with a bunch of different folks in the park. So as always, if you ever want a dog and it's not a discounted adoption, hit me up and I will happily sponsor any adoptions that you want to take part in. And I'll give you a report on the amazing behaviors of every dog. Pretty soon, every dog at the shelter I'll have visited. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Carol.
We appreciate all of your support, Councilor Corinne.
Yep, thank you, Councilor. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Next is a conflict of interest. Does any member of City Council, City Manager, or any member of the city staff have any known conflict of interest with any item on the agenda?
None.
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 So next we'll have public participation. We'll allow up to 3 minutes, no pending litigation or items on the non-consent. At this time, I also want to mention that since it is election season, please refrain from using this time as a political platform. And Katrina will assist.
Mayor, Council, all the folks here today and those watching online, I'm Lynn Moorer. Today I bring more documented facts about the city's non-compliant activities regarding the new lead and copper rule. Last meeting, the Assistant Utilities Director said updating online inventory records in real time created too much confusion. I've seen this characterization used by officials who are caught cooking the books. It's a classic put down of the public. In reality, we the public are not confused. We can tell the difference between before and after 1986. We can discern when half the city has been left off the map. We have no difficulty understanding when the city clerk tells us in response to an IPA request that the city does not actually have any records notifying new customers of their pipe material, despite the Assistant Utilities Director's false claims to the contrary. See handout 1. We may be just riffraff in Councilor McClure's view, but we're not stupid. We know when we're being lied to. Handout 2 shows that EPA requires water systems to notify new customers of their service line material. So why hasn't the city notified all new customers as required and produced records that prove it? This is a clear violation. Handout 3 sets out facts regarding the city's pattern of characterizing pipes as non-lead without any stated or justified basis. These properties constitute 33% of 81 properties sampled. This means the city has no justification for characterizing 1/3 of the properties as non-lead. It's just making things up. Without a basis, they can't be believed. Why isn't there a basis for every property? Handout 4 is a property whose lines are classified as non-lead without any basis. The record doesn't add up. While both lines are characterized as non-lead, the symbol on the map indicates this property is unknown. The customer-owned line is characterized as non-lead galvanized. That's all. We don't know whether this galvanized line is or was downstream of a lead line, which would require replacement. It doesn't say. This shows the folly of relying upon a characterization that has no basis whatsoever. Last meeting, the Assistant Utilities Director used the same mantra that Steve Petta has used. The city doesn't have a lead pipe problem. This means an impartial assessment of the city's piping required by EPA is not underway. You all should be disturbed by this overt bias against finding the truth regarding Las Cruces piping. The city is using these stratagems to avoid finding lead pipes, characterizing piping as non-lead without any basis whatsoever, falsely characterizing lead piping as non-lead because of installation after the lead ban, leaving half the city off the inventory, using a pipe inspection technique that's not highly accurate, relying on water sampling only with no records or field inspection only with no records. Not finding lead pipes saves the city a lot of work. It's clear that's the goal. The rule imposes many requirements that are hinged on whether certain kinds of lines are identified. The city is making sure it doesn't identify much. Has the city no sense of decency? How much longer will the city allow its staff to flout the law and the well-being of its citizens? Thank you for this opportunity to speak.
Mayor, City Council, I'm Liz Rodriguez Johnson. At the August 4 meeting, the Utilities Director said, quote, "We believe we're meeting all requirements," unquote. That's an astounding statement given all the EPA requirements Las Cruces Utilities is clearly not meeting. Most have been brought to their attention, but here's a partial list. EPA requires that water systems sample consumer taps upon request. See Handout 3 from the June 16 meeting and Handout 4 from the July 21 meeting. Why hasn't Las Cruces Utilities sampled the water of consumers who requested it as required? This is a clear violation. Why hasn't the city publicized an offer for people who don't know that this can be requested? EPA requires that water systems notify owners of galvanized requiring replacement pipes within 30 days of submission of the inventory. See Handouts A and B from the August 4 meeting. Why hasn't Las Cruces Utilities notified all the galvanized requiring replacement folks as required? Why does it plan to put this till the last quarter of the year? This is a clear violation. These folks appear to be located in the older parts of the city. Is this another example of Las Cruces Utilities' unequal treatment of city citizens? EPA requires a proven evidence-based technique for identifying the nature of piping. See Handout 1 from the August 4 meeting. Why has Las Cruces Utilities utilized two techniques widely? Water sampling only with no records and field inspection only with no records that are plainly not evidence-based. These are obvious violations. Handout A from the August 4 meeting shows EPA requirements that the inventory include all properties served by the city. Previously, I provided you handouts showing 33 neighborhoods without water hookups. Why does half of the city not have water hookups on the map? This is a clear violation. The majority of the omitted neighborhoods are mobile home neighborhoods. Why are many of the folks who live in mobile homes left out? To receive a grant, the city promised to prioritize disadvantaged populations. In fact, EPA requires this prioritization. See Handout A. But the director said that the city is only planning to complete it in 2027. That's not keeping faith with the disadvantaged people of Las Cruces, nor is disappearing from the inventory all the information about the disadvantaged neighborhoods. It suggests that the grant was obtained under false pretenses. How many properties in the city's oldest areas has the city inspected? Where are the records? The city should make sure the health of all the citizens is protected. That should be top goal, not using as many tricks as possible to avoid finding lead pipes. That violates the rule, and that puts thousands of vulnerable Las Cruces residents at risk. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity to speak with you today. My name is LaVon Hart, and I am the director of the Spay and Neuter Action Program, SNAP. I wanted to give you a brief update on the Spay and Neuter program that we have with the city of Las Cruces. As you know, we really got started on this program at the end of last year and started putting out the word to all of the Las Cruces residents on January 1st, 2025. For the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025, under our contract with the City of Las Cruces, SNAP facilitated the spay or neuter of 243 cats, 352 dogs, for a total of 595 spay and neuters for the animals, the companion animals of low-income Las Cruces residents. We also facilitated 293 rabies vaccinations and 272 microchips. We saw an increase during that time of over 35% in the number of vouchers issued to residents for spay and neuter surgeries. So far, during the first few weeks of this fiscal year, we are seeing an even larger increase in the number of residents requesting vouchers. In fact, I ran the report last week and it scared me. It's like 100% increase over last year, same time. To assist in getting all of these dogs and cats fixed, we held 5 special spay-neuter clinics for Las Cruces dogs and cats last spring. Thank you to Schumacher's Vet Clinic and Callista Animal Hospital for hosting these events. Over 130 dogs and cats were fixed during those clinics. Thank you also to Dr. Carver of the Mesquite Animal Vaccination Clinic, who held a special vaccination clinic at our offices to get a large number of those dogs and cats ready for their surgeries. The dogs and cats did not thank us. Most of all, I want to thank all of you for your support of this program. Truly, together, we are making a difference in the lives of Las Cruces residents and their companion dogs and cats. Now we need to start talking about what more we can do. One of the things, gave you a handout on the front, it kind of goes over some of the numbers. The other side, we need volunteers. So anyone out there in the community, if you're interested in helping us with this program, we need volunteers. So please contact the SNAP office. We particularly need Spanish-speaking volunteers, as we have a significant number of our clients who are Spanish-speaking. We are also seeking board members. So if anybody would like to serve as a board member on on SNAP, please also give us a contact. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Frankie Lawrence. I'm a senior citizen that attends the Aquatic Center on a regular basis. And currently, it is out of order. We have not been able to go there for a while. And as you know, the Las Cruces community is growing quickly with senior citizens. And those that have surgery and the water is very beneficial for our well-being and recovery. With that, I was hoping that we could get it going again. It's been out of commission several times in fits and starts, although we try to go on a consistent basis. It's not possible when the pool is entirely closed. So anything you can do to help us get it going, I would really appreciate. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Lucas Herndon. I'm a resident in District 2. I'm here today to ask for your help in trying to stop something horrible happening in our county. Last week, the Doña Ana County Commission made moves to approve a $165 billion bribe from a Texas-based tech company to build a data center in southern part of the county. I recognize and I understand that the city and the county are different entities, but part of the egregious nature of this issue that has come up is that they only gave the community 3 weeks to do anything about this. If you have seen the news or attended, you saw that dozens and dozens of residents were at that meeting asking the county to not move forward with this. The risks to our groundwater and our drinking water, which legally are two different things, is very, very great. Data centers are entirely too, they require too much water for a community like ours here in the desert. In my role as the Energy Policy Director at Progress Now, New Mexico, I myself am concerned specifically about the energy use of this data center. Part of what they are working on, this Borderplex company, comes from a memorandum of understanding that they signed with the governor that grants them permission to use a loophole in the state's Energy Transition Act where they can build gas plants, hydrogen plants, nuclear plants on their microgrid and have that energy excluded from the state's movement towards renewable energy. Because they will need interconnection with El Paso Electric to get started, those power plants will be connected to El Paso Electric's grid. And as the area's largest user of EPE electricity and the city making its own moves towards some electrification efforts, where we get that electricity matters to residents. And if El Paso Electric is getting energy from gas plants on this microgrid that are excluded from the ETA, we can't necessarily in good conscience use that energy if our goal is to reduce emissions, protect the air and the water of our residents. So my ask is that in whatever official capacity you can, from your seats on the council, with your relationship with the county, please help us fight this. At the very least, give us more time to have the community properly engage with this, to learn more about it, to learn what the risks are. This is a big deal, and we need as much help and support as we can get. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Mary Ellen Boberg.
Will you, the mic can move?
Oh, sorry.
Just so you can speak closer into it. Thank you.
Is that better? Okay. My name is Mary Ellen Boberg. I've been a citizen, a resident of Las Cruces, New Mexico for the last 30 years. I've raised my family here, and I have enjoyed many, many benefits in the city of Las Cruces. One of the things that I'm enjoying currently, or trying to enjoy currently, is the availability of the Las Cruces Aquatic Center and the access that I have to be able to go every day and get the exercise that I need. I have some motor issues that limit my ability to be in the natatorium pool, which is available right now, but the other pool, the one that we use at the Aquatic Center, has been inoperable for a month and a half, 2 months.
At least, yes.
And now, I was there today using the warm water pool, and I have some concerns because the water that is sitting there now is stagnant, and it's becoming very dark. And now I'm growing concerned that there are going to be problems for the warm water pool that many people have to use other than the cold water pool, which is in the natatorium. That water is cold. and so I'm concerned about what could grow there. I don't know if they've just filled it with chlorine to just keep it from growing. I mean, to me, I think mosquitoes could even get in there and, set up a home. So we're a group of senior citizens who I'm finally able to enjoy my retirement. My service here in Las Cruces has always been either through the state government or through Las Cruces Public Schools, and now it's my turn. And I'm hearing all of the things that people need. I'm really desiring that you guys pay a little bit of attention to that pool, because it really is. I've researched where other states, they have nothing compared to this pool. And so I wonder what those senior citizens are able to do. If you can't walk, you've got to be able to get some exercise and movement somehow, and being in the water is key to that. Thank you. And this is my pool buddy.
My name is Bob Hauk, and I agree with everything that Mary Ellen said. Excuse me. We have been waiting to have that the channel repaired, and it hasn't happened. So I guess our question is, when will it be done? Is it being worked on? Is somebody paying attention to it? I don't know. Anyway, thank you very much for your time. Please make it work.
Please.
Excuse me, one second. If David's, well, they're leaving, we're going to give them an update, but you can give an update on the swimming pool at the end, comments. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. David, if you don't mind, a quick update.
Yes, Mayor. David Cedillo, Interim Assistant City Manager for the record. And we are aware that the pool is down. We have some electrical and pump issues that are going on at the pool. We are actively working to get those fixed at this point in time. We did have a vendor come out to look at the old pump to see if we could repair it, and also looking at replacement pumps to get the pool back up and running as soon as possible. If you don't mind, after the meeting, I can meet you outside and give you my contact information.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, hello, Council. Lindley Hornsby, resident of District 4. Also here to talk with you all about our shared water supply, which is at risk by Project Jupiter, which I know that that's a county jurisdiction, but I'm surprised at how many non-county Democrat politicians are supporting that, right? We see our state senators, representatives, our federal congressional representatives taking a stand on this. And so I just want to encourage any of our city council leadership to use your platform and privilege to protect our water here in Las Cruces, the water in our county at large, the air that we breathe, which is going to be impacted by this data center, right? And for our community not to adopt another boom and bust industry, which New Mexico has been burned by time and time again. That is what AI is. And so again, I know that the vote is not before this council, but I just appreciate you all, those of you that are using your voice in this issue, and encourage you all to really listen to the constituency and what we want for our communities, understanding that we know what's best for our communities, and there's not, we don't like a zillion PowerPoints from a corporation that wants to just profit off of our land and resources is not necessarily going to placate us. So that's all for now. We'll talk soon about GRT, which I know you all are. I still have a minute left. This is longer than County Commission. County Commission, we have 2 minutes. City of Las Cruces, we have 3. As GRT comes up and you all are deciding how to spend that, just remembering that public safety is community safety. It's how we use our infrastructure to take care of each other, especially the most vulnerable in our community. So as you're thinking about the capital outlay projects that you'll be dedicating that money to, really asking if that funding and that infrastructure is going to be supporting all of our community members, the most vulnerable among us. Okay, thank you.
Mayor, Council, Juan Garcia. Las Cruces is steeped in violence. Just last week at the CCNJ, the surge in juvenile crime was laid bare. Grim and unsettling. Property crimes, drive-by shootings, rampant drug use, the massacre at Young Park, theft, gangs turning on each other, domestic violence, it all stacks up, casting a very dark cloud over the city. If we don't cool things down and find some respect for opposing views on both sides, political bloodshed might be next. I've noticed a trend at recent local events, like Save the Vote and the protest against the new abortion center in Las Cruces. The atmosphere feels charged, and some people, militant agitators, seem one step away from letting things get out of hand. Peaceful protest is a core American right, whether the issue is genuine or manufactured outrage. Just because someone believes abortion or ending an innocent life isn't healthcare doesn't give the opposition license to stir up violence or try to scare those who disagree into shutting up, shoving a bullhorn in someone's face, or screaming at them. Rushing the stage isn't going to win anyone over. I've seen plenty of protesters waving signs, attacking federal agents for doing their job, or warning of the, quote, militarization of the community. There are people that fly the flag upside down, making a mockery of our national ensign, which I find very troubling, or lumping together legal and illegal immigration. As someone who immigrated here legally, I find it disrespectful, not just to me, but to the millions who followed the rules and respect this country enough to do things the legal way. Most of the time, I just avoid the situations entirely. Or if I'm there, I keep my distance and quietly watch. A final word of caution, and this also goes for irresponsible comments by elected officials. Not everyone who shows up to protest is there for the right reasons. I hope LCPD continues to monitor these events because there are always a few waiting for an excuse to light the match. If that happens, if someone crosses a line, the outcome could be devastating. Resentment towards the president is boiling over and is bleeding into our streets. Don't let rage or a reckless impulse drag us into something we can't undo. This community cannot survive the added poison of political violence. Once that's unleashed, there's no telling where it stops. We will continue to advocate for peaceful protest and a civil discourse. Thank you.
Greetings, Mayor, Council. My name is Jay Choate. I'm a resident of District 5. We'd just like to note for the record that peaceful protesting, while it is an American pastime, doing things like hanging the flag upside down, burning it, stuff like that, people have done that for a while too, so that's also freedom of speech. Just wanted to throw that out there. I also wanted to echo the similar sentiments that some of my peers have expressed about Project Jupiter. I'm not inherently opposed to industrial developments, but when they don't really answer questions and it seems like they're kind of trying to rush through things, and it's inherently an industry that uses a lot of water, and big businesses, big manufacturer, private interests may come through and make promises a lot, and then years later it turns out to be lies when they start polluting the local water. There's examples like with XAI over in Tennessee, and there's countless other data centers across the country where this has happened. And so they pollute the environment, especially if they have things like fossil fuel power generation. That goes into our atmosphere, and we have to deal with that as a community. So it seems kind of counter to me that we're encouraging them to do that, but then the rest of the state has to go towards renewables. So I'm just hoping you guys can kind of push some accountability there, having the elected officials on the county commission kind of be responsive to the public here and not just kind of ignore them or silence them. I recognize it's not necessarily a city issue, but you all are elected officials within the county. So I hope you could speak to that. As far as some other stuff goes, I'm hoping we could do more public engagement outside of working hours. I know we've had some stuff in the past. I wasn't here earlier in the summer, but it'd be nice to see that more so that people who are most impacted by these types of policies can get some feedback and input into it, and have an environment where they can all come together and talk with you all about that. That'd be nice. And then I also wanted to kind of advocate for public transportation more. I know it's very important. We need more people to be able to use it, and while it's a tool and a resource to the people who need it, I think it should be something that's more comfortable for everyone involved, especially somebody like myself. I live 20 minutes away from NMSU, and so it's pretty inconvenient for me to use the bus or any public transport, but if there were a lot more opportunities around the city, maybe it'd be more convenient for me in the future, or if I happen to go to NMSU and I just want to pop downtown, stuff like that. I know I'm pretty busy all around town, so it's difficult for me, but just having more of that's always good. But thank you all for letting us have public comment, and I hope you'll kind of push the county to be a little more accountable with this Project Jupiter.
Howdy. My name is Lonnie Montgomery. Mayor, members of the council, I want you to know I love you guys. And when I say guys, I mean like the president, Mr. Hutt, says, that's men and women, and I do know what a woman is. And we're not in the commissioner's office in Diana, so I guess we can pray, so I'm going to. So dear Lord, I pray today for better skills for the people on the board here, and in skills in discernment and understanding to become better public servants and make wiser decisions. And so much for that. So I was going on to my, what I call the riffraff report. And the riffraff are doing pretty well as far as I know. But I'm not allowed to mention names, I guess, because of political things. So, but I've written down like 5 names, and they take office in Congress, and to me, they're voting the wrong ways. They're voting against women. They vote for having trans men compete against women and take away their awards and their scholarships and everything else. And to me, that is hating women. And another group I think they're taking care of too is our kids and our grandkids and our great-grandkids. They're taking the debt on there and they add to it all the time. They didn't want to vote so that we wouldn't have a 63% increase in taxes. They voted against that. I mean, they voted for that in their voting, the way they voted. And as far as the state goes, I think we're getting in toward complete insanity. That means you're voting, doing the same things over and over and over again, as everybody knows. But we keep electing the same people, and they spend billions of dollars on education, and according to Mr. Obama, that would make us 56th in the nation as far as education goes. So we know what sort of education he got. But so we just, and as far as teaching go, we have allowed kids to read library books that encourage teenage boys to use younger boys and girls as their sex objects. Also, according to New Mexico law, teachers can have the people take the things to make them what they're not supposed to be, men to women, and women to men, and also set up the operations which you can take in as soon as this big thing is built in Las Cruces, to take over there and take off the breast or the genitalia or whatever in that particular area. Okay, thank you. To be continued in the riff-raff segment next week, or the week after next.
Hello, council members of Las Cruces. I do want to kind of mirror the sentiment of some of my other peers of saying that we should try to do whatever we can to try to stop Project Jupiter.
Could you state your name?
Oh, sorry. My name is William Moreland. I know it's a county issue, but as Dona Ana County's biggest municipality, I feel like it's part of our obligation to kind of help stand up for the smaller municipalities in our county, especially since from a lot of the sentiment I get from some of the people that live outside of town, they don't know what this project is. We're the biggest people, or we're the biggest voice in this, and if we don't stand up for them, the drought situation that we've been having could get worse. Heat islands, which data centers could cause, can drive away rain, and that's on top of the issue of them wasting water. Another smaller issue that I've been noticing, and it's funny that I'm coming up and talking about this near the tail end of summer, but a lot of the public transportation bus stops here in town do not have shade, and that could be a big issue, especially if someone like me who barely misses buses through no fault of my own has to now wait an hour outside. I feel like having some reprieve near those bus stops would be really useful to everyone who has to use that transportation system to get in and around town.
Thank you. My name's Jim Hurst. I'm here to speak on behalf of, or in favor of Jupiter, the Jupiter project. That area, referred to as CHAPS often, is barren of any economic development. And the economic development that is coming to the area in the form of the data center will bring its own infrastructure. It will be able to tap new aquifers. It will be able to generate its own power. It will be virtually self-contained, and it should spur other economic growth in that area. I heard the word used, bribe, and somehow it's going to chase away other rain. I don't know how that happens. I don't think there's corruption involved. Of course, government is corruptible, but to presume that there's corruption is most unfair. I also think that economic issues economic and environmental issues can be addressed. It's wrong to presume that it's going to be a boondoggle. I trust capital to operate in its own interest. I don't believe people will invest billions of dollars into enterprises that they aren't sure are going to work. They might be wrong, but at least they're trying to make money, not trying to lose money. And we should hear the we should hear both sides, get all the information we possibly can before we say no. I think some people have been very quick to say no, and I think they need to look at all the facts and also have some sympathy for the economic development of that region. That's jobs. Economic development is just another word for jobs. Jobs are just another word for prosperity. So thank you very much.
Good afternoon, City Council, Mayor. Thank you for having public comment. I really appreciate it. I don't know if any of you saw the agenda or were just not able to attend, but the...
Can you state your name?
Oh, Donna Stryker. I'm so sorry. I always forget my name. I'm old. I forget it. Last week, Courts, Crime, and Justice Legislative Committee met at NMSU. I was there all 3 days, not for every minute, and when they come back, I'd love to have more participation with the community and the council. I was there for Fernando Macias's comments and his presentation, which was well received by the legislative body that was there on the committee. The police department did a presentation on youth and crime, and it was disturbing. And if you have not seen the video, I would definitely ask you to have Chief Story share that video with each and every one of you. The faces of the legislators was telling, and I don't think that there was one negative comment about the fact that something needs to be done about crime, not only in our city, but in this state, Albuquerque, and the country. And if you could please watch it, it would be helpful, I think, as things come up in our community. And unfortunately, our DA was not able to come to the third day, but there was a conversation about competency. And there was a shift. There was a huge shift. That day, it appeared that there was more collaboration and perhaps more openness to hearing that we need to do something. We meaning the people, the communities, the councils, the legislature, et cetera. There was one thing that was very disturbing to me, and it embarrassed me for my community, and that's when a senior senator put down my council and put down my community and basically pointed fingers, which I thought was extremely unprofessional of that particular senator. I try really hard not to name names because I don't think it serves any purpose, but it was inappropriate. I don't agree with everybody all the time, ever, or anybody. That's just not human. But it was disrespectful, and it really bothered me that he said those things about my council and pointed a finger at us in the audience and said, "This is your fault." And I thought that that was childish, immature, inappropriate for a senior sitting senator. And I'm sorry those comments were made in a public forum. It was not appropriate at all. Thank you for your service.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. Tim Jenkins here. I wasn't planning on speaking, but I would like to just second. I was also there for the 2-hour presentation for the Las Cruces Police Department, and it was very, very powerful and very sad at the same time. But the presentation that they gave, I think it sent a very loud, clear message to our senators. And my concern is that we need to look for every possible way to change the crime in this city. It's heartbreaking. We are getting ready to spend, and we're going to go out to an intersection tomorrow, I believe, and talk about spending $11 million on homeless and unhoused, and we're getting ready to spend $10 million for the largest abortion clinic. But what are we doing about the mental health? That is my concern. Thank you.
Good afternoon, City Council. My name is John Paul Palomino, and I'm also here to talk about Project Jupiter. I believe that it is not good for the county and the city of Las Cruces, and as the leadership of the city of Las Cruces, the largest population of the county, I believe it is imperative for you to encourage your colleagues at the county to stop this program from going forward. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Diana Alba Solar. I'm the project coordinator for the New Mexico Local News Fund. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this a little taller here. I'm here today because I wanted to introduce myself in this role as I'm a longtime journalist here in Las Cruces. I'm working part in a coordinator role, part in a journalist role. The New Mexico Local News Fund is this nonprofit organization that's looking to support a variety of forms of local news statewide. And so we have different projects and initiatives that are going on to do this. Just recently, we've begun discussing with a national initiative called Documenters. Documenters is a project that trains citizens to become attendees of public meetings and document them to put them out for public consumption. This is in part to try to help empower residents in an era where local news has seen a lot of decline in terms of the numbers of journalists that are here and reporting in communities. It's not exactly a replacement for journalists, but it's a way to get more coverage in terms of just reporting. There's many meetings that journalists rarely, if ever, go to that still have public importance, and citizens might be interested in knowing what is going on. So I'm just here today to just give you a heads up that we're doing this. We're trying to inform different public bodies that we're starting this project. It's still in the very infancy right now, and so it probably won't be until the first quarter of next year where we actually recruit citizens to participate. They go through a training through Documenters, and then they get paid to cover different meetings. And so I'm interested in getting feedback both from you all as well as just members of the public who might be here and might be interested in becoming a documenter down the road. But my email address is diana@nmlocalnews.org if you're interested in that. And I'll also leave some cards for the city clerk in case. My email's a little different on this one because it feeds into the same email address. But yeah, just wanted to put that on your radar, and thanks for the opportunity to talk today.
Next, we'll go to the acceptance of agenda.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second.
This is on the motion to accept the agenda as presented. Councillor McClure?
Yes.
Councillor Matisse?
Yes.
Councillor Graham?
Yes.
Councillor Cran?
Yes.
Councillor Flores is absent. Councillor Bencomo?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. So next we'll go to item 7.1, which is a public hearing. So the public hearing is now open at 2:09 p.m. Is there anyone who would like to speak for or against the issuance of the liquor license? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed, 2:09 p.m.
Move to approve, Graham.
Second, Corin.
Okay, Adam.
Thank you, Mayor. Adam Ochoa, Community Development, for the record. Before you, we have a proposed liquor license at an existing restaurant for our Ruby Tuesdays Las Cruces, located at 2611 North Telshore Boulevard. This is an application, just the transfer of ownership of the existing liquor license at the establishment, which is liquor license number DIS 001199. Preliminary approval was provided by the State Alcoholic Beverage Control Division to the city on July 17th of this year. Request for an extension was done by the city in order to get it before y'all in the required time frame. That extension was approved. This was sent out to all reviewing parties within the city, internal reviewers to review to see if there were any issues, and all reviewing staff saw no issues with the proposed application. Showing the location of the property here, I think we all know where Ruby Tuesdays is, Sam's, Teleshore, and the interstate, just giving an idea of where we're at. So your options are 1, to vote yes and approve the proposed liquor license, or 2, to vote no and deny. That is the conclusion of my presentation, and I stand for questions.
All right, thank you, Adam. Any questions? Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 26-033. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores is absent. Counselor Bencomo?
Yes.
And Mayor.
Yes. Next is item 7.2, resolution number 26-034. A resolution allowing the Doñana County Improvement Special Assessment Program to operate within the city of Las Cruces, including programs such as commercial property assessed clean energy.
Move to approve.
Second.
Good afternoon, Mayor, members of City Council. My name is Isaac Holguin, and I also have Eric Christensen online with Adelante Consulting. And the resolution before you is the adoption of CPACE program to operate within the city of Las Cruces. Here's some background to provide context about CPACE. CPACE stands for Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy. It is an alternative source of financing for commercial property owners to finance projects that enhance buildings' energy resilience through long-term fixed financing. CPACE can cover direct and indirect costs related to these types of upgrades, and eligible properties can include any privately owned commercial, agricultural, industrial, or multifamily properties that have 5 or more dwelling units. Here's a little snapshot of the U.S. map. Currently, we have about 90 CPACE lenders that have helped 3,300 commercial buildings with a total funding of $7 billion for these upgrades. How to establish the CPACE program. In 2023, the New Mexico legislature passed House Bill 228, the Improvement Special Assessment Act, which allows counties and municipalities to establish improvement special assessment programs like CPACE. Counties and municipalities need to get opted in to allow these projects to operate in their jurisdiction and have access to the CPACE funding. New Mexico Economic Development Department has contracted with Adelante Consulting to be the statewide program administrator for the CPACE program. CPACE funding. CPACE funding is CPACE funding is solely from capital providers and does not rely on any government subsidies, nor does it rely on any public funds. Some of the typical measures funded by CPACE is lighting upgrades, HVAC systems, microgrids, EV charging stations, roof replacements, and a slew of other upgrades that are eligible through the CPACE program. Some of the general benefits for CPACE financing is it provides 100% of the direct, can provide up to 100% of the direct and indirect cost with fixed financing rates with terms up to 30 years. CPACE also has a three-year look-back period, which allows commercial properties that have maybe done some of those upgrades maybe about a year or two ago, can also capture some of the CPACE benefits and financing as well. Since it is a tax assessment program, it is not a personal guarantee, it is a property lien, and it does stay with that property, so in the event if the property owner does want to sell, they are able to go and transfer that lien to the future property owner as well. Some of the benefits for property owners and developers, of course, it helps with a lot of the upfront costs that we see with these larger scale development projects. Not only is it helping them get that going, but it's also increasing the property value since a lot of these buildings are resilient and they're going to be keeping that building envelope for the useful life. And again, for the owners, if they are wanting for some reason to sell the property, it's not going to be with them. The lien will be transferable upon sale with that property as well. Some of the benefits to operating in the city is it helps create new jobs and businesses, as well as during the construction of these upgrades. If we see a business and they're wanting to, such as like the Boys and Girls Club want to do an upgrades, we're able to go and do those upgrades, provide jobs, and keep sustainability jobs in those buildings that we're also upgrading as well. By having these upgrades, it also helps with the lower the operating costs for the end user, and they'll be able to help sustain that business throughout the life of that business as well. Some of the benefits for existing capital providers and existing lien holders is it creates a strong building for those capital investors and making sure that that building is going to be staying up for the rest of that loan that they have if they're an existing lien holder. They're able to see the collateral improved on that building without having the credit risk, since it is not going through their business, it's going through the special tax assessment. And there are your standard counsel options. Also, like I said, we have Eric Christensen from Adelante Consulting, and he's online if you guys also have any questions regarding CPACE as well.
Yeah, Councilor Matisse.
Yeah, can I ask you, what kind of feedback have you gotten, if any, and if you have, if you could just report that, from banks, banks holding the mortgages?
So,
in other words, what you're saying is every bank has approved or has, knowing that there's an additional lien on that property?
Yes. So for your, to answer your question, Councilor, Mayor, members of City Council, with respect to the lien holders, we have to make sure that we get all the different lien holders that are going to be agreeing to this. Since this is a property tax assessment, it is placed as a primary on the capital stack, and so we have to have consent from all the other lien holders. So if there's maybe a loan from a private capital as well as CPACE, we have to make sure that we're consenting on both of those lien holders, and they're knowing that the CPACE is going to be also incorporated on that capital stack for the payments as well. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Any other question? Was there anything else that you would like to add? You said his name is Eric. That's online.
Christensen?
If there was anything else you would like to add?
No additional information really. I think just to kind of add to what Isaac was saying about lien holders, just with projects that we've seen in other counties in New Mexico, we've had a number of banks kind of give that lien holder consent that has allowed CPACE transactions to take place. And if whatever reason, as Isaac mentioned, a lien holder doesn't want to give that consent, then that's their right, and then the transaction wouldn't happen. So they are protected in that way.
Okay, thank you. Seeing none. Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 26-034. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
No.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Coran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores is absent. Councilor Bencomo? Yes. Mayor?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next is item 7.3. Council Bill number 26-003, ordinance number 3095, an ordinance repealing and replacing Chapter 18, nuisance sections 18 through 1.
Move to
and
approve.
18-2.
Second, Graham.
Go ahead, Brett.
All right. Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. Brad Douglas from the Legal Department. For the record, I will be joined by the very hesitant Michael Roach from Codes Enforcement. He's the Codes Enforcement Supervisor. And so I'd like to just briefly discuss with you our proposed revisions to Chapter 18 of the Municipal Code as it relates specifically to weeds or noxious weeds and rank vegetation as it's currently defined by Sections 18.1 and 18.2. And so you may remember members of the public who have commented on the weeds ordinance as it's currently written. It has been reviewed by our Las Cruces Municipal Court, and at least one judge found that the ordinance as it's currently written is overly broad or possibly vague, raising constitutional concerns. I reviewed the ordinance, and I also have concerns. And so I got with Mr. Roach, and we looked at other codes throughout the state to see if we could maybe tighten our own ordinance up. And basically the purpose of the current proposed revisions are to adequately put residents of Las Cruces on notice as to what is and is not acceptable with regard to weeds, frankly. That's it. And so, I think I said that. The proposed update would include more specific definitions with regard to the invasive species that are most commonly encountered by our codes enforcement officers. If the ordinance was adopted as currently proposed, our codes officers would have clearer direction with regard to enforcement. And if adopted, that enforcement would be focused on primarily the enumerated species in the updated ordinance, absent some extreme nuisance condition for species that aren't enumerated. But the vast majority would be focused on what our codes officers are encountering on a daily basis. I'll repeat myself a little bit, but the overall goal is to confer proper notice on Las Cruces residents with regard to weeds and unacceptable vegetation. Again, this proposal is to ensure that constitutional safeguards are in place, yes, even for a nuisance ordinance. We take these matters very seriously. And it would also assist our municipal judges in interpreting those codes violations. And Mr. Roach, is there anything you would like to say? A man of few words, but I'll stand for questions. And really, Mr. Roach will stand for questions.
Councilor Curran.
And don't worry, Supervisor Roach, I'm not going to do anything except call out my appreciation for you. So, nope, not more of a comment than a question, which I know everyone here loves always. But I just want to talk about what this means in the context of, so as city councilors, if you all didn't know, we frequently get called when a neighbor is angry at their other neighbor. And I'm just going to tell you that a large portion of the calls that I get are people being mad at their neighbors. Of all sorts, many times it's something that falls into Supervisor Roach's domain. Sometimes it's things that fall into Chief Story's domain. Supervisor Jimenez also. But I say this to sort of contextualize this in this way. I firmly appreciate the way that we enforce nuisance codes. That is, often codes officers, and I try to sort of encourage folks to actually talk to their neighbors first, which I know is not always easy, but it's a wild idea. But if you're really mad at someone, sometimes you can talk to them about it and it actually gets better, especially when it's something like a plant, which I would argue is very easily remedied, right? We can have a conversation about this. So I just want to sort of contextualize this in the grand scheme of things. I support guidance to what we should and should not be cognizant of. Myself am self-policing. I'm out there plucking the weeds. I don't know what they are. I just pluck them all. Sorry. And I don't spray, so then I have to pluck more. It is what it is. I urge us all to consider this is asking folks to be more responsible citizens in a meaningful way that is constructive and clear. It is not an invitation to call the police on your neighbor's weeds. And so I'm urging folks out there, please don't do that. If you find yourself thinking, I'm going to call my city councilor about my neighbor's weeds, I urge you to first, if you can, please go and talk to the person themselves. Maybe they're having a life crisis and they can't pick their weeds after a bunch of rain. That's like 80% of the time what's happening. So I appreciate that this is coming forward and that this is giving folks a context for which to understand what might be a useful plant versus a not useful plant. I urge us also to not use this as a license to be mean to each other. Fundamentally, I think that's part of our bigger fundamental problem. So please look out at your own yard first. Think about what weeds you have there. Make some time to pick them. Go over and offer to pick your neighbors. We do this in my neighborhood routinely because some of my neighbors have disabilities. And so I guess I say thank you for bringing this forward, but also please, folks of the public, understand the context under which we're all functioning, and that is as a community. And policing people's plants is not something I don't think the city, and I don't know if this is Supervisor Roach's sort of objection, but it is mine. That is, I don't think we should be policing people's plants or a myriad of other things about them. So please keep that context in mind. I support this in the idea that it makes better neighbors. Thank you.
Councilor McClure.
I was going to second Officer Roach for guiding me through some of the non-enforcement that we can and cannot do through codes, but how helpful he has been with it too. I think I had asked at one point if we can do photos, and maybe that's not something we can put in the codes, but if there was an education campaign, even just a pamphlet you can hand out, I think that would be something that would be helpful for some people who, yes, I know we can Google, but some people are going to get in the weeds about things. So if we can do some sort of awareness campaign, much like we need to do for other things, I think that would be helpful because wow, I don't know what kind of bugs these are either. Bagworms? Ew, I don't know. So thank you.
Councilor McClure, myself and Mr. Roach, we can communicate with our communications director and see if there's something that we can push out. Absolutely.
Councilor Matisse.
I just wanted to share what Councilor Cran said, that the calls that I get are mostly neighbors not happy with neighbors either parking, weeds, and I just want to give a kudos, a compliment to one of your codes people. She came into my neighborhood, I think 2 doors down. We've had some neighbors that have RV and big trucks parking in the street, and I don't mind because I just get out of there and I don't look at things. But some neighbors really objected to and she explained the entire ordinance. I mean, she was very thorough, and she spoke to, I believe it was Sarah was her first name, and she was very satisfied with the explanation and the professionalism of that. I believe she said she came from animal control, and now she's with codes, and she did an excellent job and settled down 2 or 3 neighbors. And then when I came back, one of the neighbors commented how professional she was. So I think pamphlet, education, and maybe some type of maybe an outreach program with your codes people, meeting the public. I think they would really appreciate how professional these people are and how they have to know the law. And thank you for your effort on another significant ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thanks again. Thanks, Brad. Thank you, Roach, and all your staff, all the work that you do with the code enforcement. Really, truly appreciate all that you do. Christine? I'm sorry, are there any members? Yeah, are there any members of the public? We'll give you 2 minutes.
Diane Starbuck, for the record. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I promised I would speak. Speaking in favor of this revised weed ordinance, clarification of law is always a good thing. Hopefully, the revised ordinance will preserve native plant species and maintain food and shelter for native wildlife. I would like to thank Mr. Douglas and Officer Roach for their work on this ordinance. Also, on a more personal note, I ask that you approve this ordinance so I don't have to hear my friend Jim Wilcox complain about the weed ordinance anymore. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public? Okay, seeing none. Thank you. Christine?
This is on the motion to approve ordinance 3095. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Graham?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Flores is absent. Counselor Bencomo?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes. Next, we'll move to board appointments, and there are none. Next is notice of proposed ordinances. Council Bill number 26-004, ordinance number 3096, and ordinance repealing ordinance 2964, closing the Local Economic Development Act, LEDA, project between the City of Las Cruces and Saputo Cheese.
Bring it forward.
Next, we'll go to City Council member board reports and comments. Councilor McClure.
Thank you, Mayor. I was just going to say that I also, too, had some concerns about Project Jupiter. I know we heard a lot about that today. I think we all want dynamic change for our area, but a lot of times we have to think of what cost that is, and these are in the billions. I think a lot of this, too, is the speed that we're looking at. The speed is light years compared to what I've seen here at the city level. It takes a long time for things to get done, so this is what breeds mistrust, this idea that it happens so quickly. And I know there's a lot of outreach, so I would counsel some of my county peers to consider why this is happening so fast and consider listening to people slightly more. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Matisse.
Yeah, I have just a couple of things to mention. I want to say thank you to LCPD and, of course, the fire department. Both chiefs have made quite improvements in the public safety issue in Las Cruces. I get tremendous comments from people going to different functions, how much better the city looks, both the cleanup and taking care of blight. The panhandling has come under control. But the light program, we get a lot of comments, Chief, on the light program and how good that is in behavioral management for people that are maybe on different corners and struggling. And the Las Cruces Police Department, I really appreciate the the traffic citations. I think it's making an improvement. I don't see as many red light runners, and I don't see as many speeders on the different streets. I think they're getting the message that we're out there to make sure you stay in control and follow the rules of driving. So I appreciate LCPD and the fire department. Another kudos, I want to thank Olive Garden. Being Italian, it's a frequent place that I visit, and I want to thank them for their donation and providing meals to the Las Cruces Police Department. And it's nice to see corporate America be so generous. On the utilities, maybe the public needs to get this fact sheet that our utilities department has almost 10 years to handle the lead and copper issue, 10 years. And so this would be a good fact sheet to share with the public, and I think our utilities department is doing an outstanding job, and I really appreciate all the awards that our communications department got, and particularly the one from utilities. As for the one from Connie, that did shock me, him being so serious all the time, but he does have a great sense of humor, and thanks for doing that video. It's corazon, very good. Thank you.
Councilor Grant.
Nothing today, thanks.
Councilor Cran.
Thank you. I wanted to give, I see that you talked about traffic enforcement when Councilor Flores wasn't here, Councilor Matisse. It's wise.
I've been in this game quite long.
Wise. I also wanted to, again, elevate the communications department because I be zipping every day. So even though we didn't see the zipper one, I personally watched that video and now do best practices. And I won't say that my best practice is speeding, but I'm just making the intersection more efficient at Spruce and Telshore. So the zipper video was also really delightful, so thank you for that. I also want to appreciate the firefighters union who were recognized yesterday as an outstanding labor organization in our community, literally saving lives. At the Labor Day breakfast, they were recognized for all of the things that they do, from rescue to fire response to emergency services overall. And so I just really want to thank you and appreciate and elevate them as one of our collective folks that deserve recognition. And so thank you to Chris Johnson and team for representing yesterday. We're really proud of the work that the firefighters and IAFF do in particular. The second part that I really wanted to talk about specifically, someone mentioned the housing thing that's happening tomorrow. There is going to be a press conference related to housing generally, but also I think these are a number of housing related initiatives. In particular, this is that one that we approved about a month and a half ago, as this body, single family homes for folks who are at 120% of area median income. And so just alluding to that is something that is happening tomorrow, but I want to sort of give a shout out to our housing staff generally and the community organizations, including Community of Hope, who really lead on a number of housing related things. This week, the city of Tucson identified Las Cruces as the leader in housing in the region, and so folks from the city of Tucson will be visiting and visiting with folks from our housing staff and from Community of Hope to find out what we're doing here and implement it in Tucson, because they visited a bunch of places all over the Southwest, and they found Las Cruces to be the one that they want to emulate. So thank you to the folks who work really hard to be leaders in housing. That's also why we're getting millions of dollars from the state. And I just want to appreciate the community of folks, including Camp Hope and Natalie and the housing team, who have been working really hard to address housing at all levels. So thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thanks, Mayor. Just two quick things. I'm honestly so excited about tomorrow's groundbreaking, and that the news about the $11 million that the state is investing in Las Cruces because of our dedication to addressing our housing crisis. That news is finally out. I think we've maybe all known for a little while longer, and so I'm just so deeply grateful that that's happening and that we get to really celebrate that tomorrow at Arcadia. One of the projects that, as Councilor Corrin spoke to, is about is single-family housing. Like, that's incredible, right? That we are really targeting this wide range of housing options for so many of our neighbors, and so many of families and people in Las Cruces, and that's just incredibly exciting. And we are going to spend the heck out of that $11 million, aren't we? So I'm very excited to show the state what we can do so that they can keep investing in what we're doing. And then lastly, on Friday afternoon, I went on a ride-along with Officer Udero, and I just wanted to give him a shout out, tell him thank you for letting me ride along with him, and we had a really great conversation. Couple of things that stood out to me. While I was with him, he responded to a variety of calls, but some of them were related to our unhoused neighbors. There was one related to an overdose, and then another related to an abandoned property, and it just made me really affirm the fact that we just have to invest in a bunch of other things that can also be interventions so that our police officers aren't having to be the first line of intervention at so many of these things. And so I think that's just really critical for us to continue considering and continue committing to. But again, really grateful for that opportunity, which can be really intimidating. So I just really wanted to publicly thank him for inviting me. Thanks, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Again, I just want to echo the same congratulations to our communications department, Mandy and staff for their award-winning videos, and also to Natalie and her housing department. This $11 million is an investment in our community, and it's the hard work that they put in. Nobody invests in someone that hasn't done before and has those that are in progress, and then have the vision and have shovel-ready projects. So the team has done that, and again, I know he did a great job acting and tries to fix everything in this city, but a large part of all the things that we're doing goes to our city manager, and kudos to his leadership. And with that, thank you, Ikani, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor Enriquez, Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo, and City Council. Ikani Tamupiao. Just a few announcements. I would like to touch base. There was a public comment earlier for the RAC and the senior pool to come back online. I appreciate David sharing some updates as his team and Parks and Rec and facilities, staff, and our aquatics team have all been trying to figure this out. I just want to share a few things that could hopefully share why we're here in this place, but I just want to I'm sharing this so everyone knows that's not for a lack of trying. So earlier in August, we found out that the activity pool needed repair. There was an electrical panel failure. So we reached out, like we always do, to repair vendor who came shortly after, and we assumed everything was going to be okay a few weeks later, but they weren't able to repair it. So at the end of August, they found out that there was a coil that couldn't just be repaired. We actually needed a new pump for the special material that was needed. So we have a spare pump, as we appreciate staff ordering spare pumps, but we have various pool pumps that are needed, and the size that was needed was not the size of the pump that we had, which means we had to have to break additional concrete and base to put this down, which leads to additional challenges and delays. So right now there's two options that we have, and staff is working with it. And one of the options was to just buy the same size pump, which they don't make anymore. So that's causing a huge challenge. And so the other two options is having two local vendors evaluate the old pump, get it rebuilt with new coils and internal components. And then option two is working to get a cost estimate to make the necessary modifications to use the supplemental pump. Staff are currently working with these two options. The estimate is about 2 to 3 weeks, but please don't hold our staff to it. That is our goal, to get it done by. But we just wanted to share with the public that there's so much information, and we're not making any excuses. Staff is definitely doing their best, so I just wanted to share that information. So thank you to those departments, and David, please pass along our appreciation to the staff. Pertaining to Parks and Rec, we want to give kudos. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge Santino Carrillo, a valued member of our community and an exceptional example of dedication. Santino began his journey with our city's youth diversion and development program as a participant. His commitment led him later to become a volunteer, then an intern, and eventually an employee in this program. His hard work and leadership have been recognized by the state, as he was recently appointed by Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham to the New Mexico Juvenile Justice Advisory Board. We are incredibly proud to see his journey come full circle, and we are grateful for his continued service to our community. Can we get a round of applause to our employee? Thank you, Santino. We appreciate your hard work. We're excited to announce that the playground, in addition to this, there's a playground at Valley View Park has been replaced. Please join us for ribbon cutting at Valley View Park at 710 South Espina on September 9th at 9:30 a.m. to celebrate this new facility. Housing press conference will be held tomorrow, as I'm echoing what councilors have shared, but again, at 1 p.m. off Red Hawk Golf Club Road near Portrait Street to announce the 6 affordable housing projects funded through an $11 million special appropriation by the state of New Mexico. Internal audit, the OIR group will be presenting their 8th semi-annual police auditor report on September 8th and will hold their 3rd community outreach meeting later that evening in council chambers here from 6 to 8 p.m. For Visit Las Cruces, get your dance shoes ready. Baila Las Cruces is back. Council, I don't think I've seen any of you there. Better? I invite you to go. Mayor, have you been? Yeah, you don't want, okay. Yeah, their dance moves are proprietary, so you gotta watch those. But we invite you all to check it out. Visit Las Cruces sponsors with some groups in town, Baila and NMSU, to teach salsa, dancing, merengue, cumbia, bachata, and all of the above at Plaza de las Cruces. Fun starts at 7 p.m., Thursday, September 4th, with free Latin-inspired dances. So hope to see you there. And last but not least, just wanted to give time to Adrian. If Adrian wants to come up, she's just has some updates to the public and to council regarding lead and copper. Thank you, Adrian, who is our Public Works Director. Oh, I apologize. Our Utilities Director.
Thank you, City Manager. Adrian Widmer, Utilities Director. Just kind of want to give you a little bit of an update. A real-time map is not required for the lead copper, only updated annually, of which we are going to be doing annually instead of doing a real-time update as we move forward. In regards to the IPR request, it actually requested a list, which means we would have to create a record, which is not what you do when you answer IPRAs. Now, if they would like a list, they can provide us a list of names and/or accounts, and we can pull those and provide that documentation. NMED has approved our customer notice process, so there's no worries there. Customer requests for water testings, those do not become a regulatory requirement until November of 2027. And mobile home parks, most of those are actually served by master meters, in which case those will be looked at as we go through if they're deemed appropriate, depending on the year that it was installed, based on regulatory requirements of when lead copper was no longer being used. Lead is no longer being used. And if you all have any additional questions, please let me know.
Thank you. Adrian, you don't need any more departments under you, right? Utilities is fine. I was trying to give you Public Works.
No, I totally appreciate that, and I was kind of
Okay.
like, oh, good, you know, pass it on to somebody else, but
Okay. All right, Cheese.
thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for that information. Mayor Pro Tem Council, that is all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Connie. Thank you, Adrian. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
This is on the motion to adjourn the meeting. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Graham?
Yes.
Councilor Cran?
Yes.
Councilor Flores is absent. Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
And Mayor?
Yes.